Welcome back to another episode of Who Am I to Judge podcast. I'm Alexis.
And I am Samantha. Welcome back, everyone.
Welcome. What's up with you?
Oh, nothing. Just, another day. It's funny. I keep on singing have you heard that song on TikTok that's like, we're in the middle of a hostile government takeover.
We're literally on two different TikToks, as we always say. So I have never heard that.
We're in the middle of a hostile government takeover. I want to talk about it, but I'll be late for work. So yeah, that's how I am in the middle of this hostile
and late for work.
And I want to talk about it, but I'll be late for work. But I was also going to say, I watched a really cute throwback movie today that made me so happy. Have you seen Troop Beverly Hills?
True Beverly Hills?
Troop.
No.
Aw, it's one of my favorite childhood movies. It's about like a Girl Scout troop. And it's just so cute and it's just amazing. Anyways, how are you?
I'm good. I had a long work day. I feel like I just barely took any breaks because I had to do a deadline for a client. Then I went to my workout class. Then I came home. Julia cooked. It was good. It was really good. And then I chilled.
What'd y'all have?
I sent her this recipe. It was like this honey lime chicken with, it's supposed to be with like rice and asparagus, but she switched the rice, puts pasta. So it was like pasta, asparagus, and the honey lime chicken. It was very good. She made like a Parmesan sauce for her, but I didn't have that. But it was really good. And then chilled for like an hour. And then it was time to record. It's been a busy day. I'm excited to lay. Hopefully tomorrow won't be as busy, but I already saw an email from somebody being like, can we meet tomorrow? I'm like, ugh, fine.
I was gonna ask you, I know it's the last week of Black History Month and we haven't been getting the reports of your gifts. So what else have you gotten this month?
So I got this mocktails book, since I'm not really drinking.
Not really.
And then I told you about the what was it? The chapstick and the skincare stuff, and then the car. So she has one more. She should give it to me on Sunday. We'll see what happens. Well, actually, she has two more. She missed a week, so she has to give me two this Sunday. So we shall see what happens.
Awesome. Black History Month.
Black History. Help your Black girlfriends.
Yes. Send us some Black History donations, guys.
I know, literally, I was laughing. This isn't Black History. Well, I guess it is kind of Black History Month. I had put on Galentine's Day. I was like, Venmo someone.
Oh, yeah.
And my friend Chris did, and I was cracking up. So I'm like, thank you. And she's white, so thank you, Black History Month again. It was great. But we got a lot to talk about today. Let's get to it.
Oh my God. Okay. Who's on trial, Alexis?
That's hilarious.
Or do you want to ask me?
Oh, no. Who's on trial, y'all? Actually, who's on trial?
Who should we talk about first? Let's talk about who was actually really on trial.
Oh, true.
A$AP Rocky.
Yes.
I don't know why I heard clapping, like a clap button.
It was probably it was probably me smacking.
Oh, no. This is in my imagination. But anyways, yes, A$AP Rocky.
He was on trial.
No, yes.
Two felony counts of assault with a semi-automatic firearm.
Okay. I was supposed to be saying.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, two felony accounts of assault with a semi-automatic firearm. It was a 2021 incident with his former friend.
A$AP Relly.
Yes, saying that A$AP Rocky shot him at Hollywood, grazing his knuckles. So that went on. The trial was on, I feel for maybe 2 weeks, a couple weeks.
2 or 3.
Yeah, 2 or 3 weeks. The jury, I remember it being a big thing because the jury, they had no Black people. So everybody thought he was going to get fucked over. Even though, like,
and he didn't take the plea deal, which
and he didn't take the
everybody
plea
was like,
deal.
oh my God.
Right. And there is a video of ASAP Rocky pulling the trigger of this gun, but the whole thing was it self-defense or not?
Well, they said they also claimed that it was a starter pistol. Yeah.
Okay.
Or whatever, like basically something that
Rubber bullets
does not work. Yeah. It's like supposed to look like self-defense versus like actually being a real gun. That was what they said, claimed.
So after 3 hours, a jury of 7 women and 5 men decided that he is not guilty of the 2 felonies, because he only fired blanks from a prop gun taken from a music video set. And so let's talk about it, because I feel like the biggest thing that I want to talk about with this is that the last day of closing arguments, Rihanna brought her 2 kids to the closing argument. And so I feel like that started a whole conversation on Twitter and TikTok, because it was just like, is that a good thing to do? Like, should you be bringing your kids to see their father on trial for shooting someone? And they're so young. I mean, they're really young. They're like toddlers.
Yeah.
And the whole idea of like, they had never once been to this trial except the last day. So it kind of, a lot of people were talking about it being seen as like used as like props, and kind of using your kids as like props and shields.
Trying to get sympathy.
And should you be using your kids at all in this type of nature? So what are your thoughts?
Yes, and I also just want to talk about Rihanna as a whole, like,
yes,
and
her
being attached to
ASAP.
Yes, and like just seeing her going to the courthouse every other day.
It was a fashion moment every day. But yeah, keep going. Tell us.
Just
your
our
thoughts.
girl was looking real stressed. I mean, I feel like I told you, like, I do feel like that is a little weird to like take your kids to something like that. I just feel like it's just unnecessary, it's just like, why do they need to be there? This is a very like traumatic moment. Like, I just wouldn't want my kids to have like any memory of this. And like, they know she has kids, right? Like, I'm sure they mentioned that over the course of his trial. So I was just like, why, especially because it's going to be like a media circus, it's going to be lots of cameras, whatever. And it's just like, I just feel like I probably wouldn't take my kids there, but I also don't have kids.
Right. You're talking from a perspective of people without kids. And I agree. Like, maybe for them, it was like
being like a mom that's just like, I'm willing to try anything to keep my,
and even just like potentially this could be the last time the kids see their dad, for a while, if they had went and left, right? And so maybe
but was it?
No, because I'm sure he went home the day of the closing arguments. Yeah. I agree. I mean, I am not a mother, but I was just thinking about the perspective of my mother in this. And this is, again, no shade to Rihanna. This is not me trying to insinuate anything about Rihanna. This is me just talking about my mother. She would do anything to protect us. And I feel like one thing that she knew, especially if she was a very famous person and it was going to be a media circus, as you said, I think she would want to protect me and my sister from like those images of us like at 3 years old going into a court with our dad, like possibly going to jail for the next 20 something years.
Right.
I also feel like it would be one thing if this was like a learning moment or interesting moment for their kids, in the sense that they were old enough to even understand what was happening. But for them to not even be old enough to understand what was happening or interested in the case, it really did come off as like props. And in my mind, I'm just kind of like, I don't think I would, or a PR stunt. And in my mind, I don't think my mother would want to use her children as a PR stunt, even if it is to save my father, because our protection, our needs usually came first. And I'm not saying it's, it could be a totally different ideology for Rihanna. I'm not saying she looks like a fantastic, amazing mother, but it's just like, for me, I don't think I would want my kids there for those images. I know they're not getting anything out of that experience. They would probably much rather be at home playing toys or with their nanny. That like, this is just for me, and I don't think I would want to do such an act for myself.
I agree. Like, especially just the images. It's just like, there's no need for like the world to have
They shouldn't have to remember this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're not even old enough to understand what's happening. If we don't have no images of me there, I wasn't there. Like, we don't even have to have that as a memory as a kid,
right,
you know?
right.
Like,
Or
to look
it's a
back
part
on.
of their story or anything like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I agree.
But it is like this bigger thing where it's just like these men, and sometimes, you know, are what's the word, like aided by their women or pacified or like, you know, they're enabled, yes, enabled by their wives to use their family and use their family as shields, and also use the women's like brand and power as shields. Like we see that with Jay-Z and Beyonce, we see that Rihanna and ASAP.
Oh, we should talk about that too, but yeah.
We will. But I just feel like, I don't know. To me, something doesn't sit right with me on that. That like these women are also having to use, like, put their brands in jeopardy to stand by their partner.
That's why. That's really what it is for me. Like I just feel like, regardless of like the guys, you know, like how they're using it, it's just more so like, this is very stressful, you know, like these situations that these men find themselves in, going to court, lawsuits, like all this stuff is just stressful. And it's just like, why are we constantly being I'm saying we like it's whatever, but like, why are these women celebrities just constantly put in this situation where they have to like stand by a man and like,
right? Because I don't think I'll ever be in a situation where I have to stand by Julia in that way. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's just like, it's not like, because I guess I'm saying that to say, I feel like the response to someone would be like, well, you know, through thick and thin, and there's sometimes where you're just in these situations. It's like, no, like I will never be in a situation like that with Julia. And so it's just like, knock on wood, but I can't see, well, you know, I guess maybe Beyonce and fucking Rihanna said the same thing. But I'm just saying, so far in my 32 years of life, I have not had to stand by her in those ways. So it's just like, why are we choosing people,
I would say,
with those character values? Go ahead.
Yeah, I would say that, like, I don't know, just like when you say like Julia, it's just like, okay, well, what if you guys got married and Julia had like a lawsuit against her, like whoever's suing
for sexual assault with a minor, or shooting somebody with a gun? Like, I'm just saying,
but I'm saying, like, you know, maybe it was like, I don't know, like some tax stuff or like some like financial stuff that's just like, oh, you didn't know what was happening in the background.
That's, I mean,
that be leaving her.
I don't know what I would do, but I can tell you this: that's her problem. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I mean, and that's the truth. It's just like, especially what you're just saying now. It's like, I didn't even know you were doing it. It was done behind my back. Then do that. Then handle it behind my back. Like, you know, just like, that's on you. Like, that's your problem. It sounds like, and it's just like, I also want to be with someone who is mature enough and has the values that like doesn't want to do something that puts their life like in jeopardy, puts my life in jeopardy, puts my fucking shelter in jeopardy. Like, even if it's white collar or whatever, it's just like, I don't want to be with someone who is that either selfish or immature. In the case of ASAP, where it's like, why are you even fucking playing with the fucking stun gun? You know what I'm saying? It's just like, how old are we? Like, how old are we?
Really crazy,
right? It's like, so it's just like, for me, I don't foresee it happening. If it did, I guess you'll never know until you're in a situation. But it's like, it's just sad.
Unfortunate. It's just unfortunate that like the most powerful, beautiful women in entertainment, like at the same time, are literally having to stand by these men in these stressful ass situations. Like, literally, she was scared that he was going to go to jail.
I wonder, do you think if he had went to jail for like 24 years? Because I remember they were saying up to 24. Say he went to got sentenced to like 10. Do you think she would be like like a prison wife? Like, just like, I got, I'm riding for my baby daddy for 10 years. Like, you think she would be like that? Or do you think she would move on eventually?
You are so funny, Alexis. I could see her trying to ride for him, sadly. What do you think?
I don't know. Well, I feel like Rihanna always is like, in that one interview, she was like, y'all don't know me. I'm low-key ghetto. And so when she said that, it makes me feel like she would. Like, she would just be like, look, like, this is my baby daddy. Like, this, you know, I'm hard too. Like, you know, and shit like that. And it's just like, that's just not, to me, that's not sexy to me. I want to live a fun.
I actually do think about Rihanna's like upbringing and stuff with all this stuff. I'm like, you know, I just feel like, yes, she's a billionaire, businesswoman, superstar, but it is just like she makes interesting choices in relationships, and you know, her examples growing up and stuff. It was just,
her examples growing up, yes, but I always
it was
just
also just sorry, I just want to say it was just funny seeing that one outfit where she like had like the braid or something, and like it was like a tan suit or something.
Oh yeah.
It just looked very like a Barbadian woman, like going to court.
She looked great. Let me tell you, she looked great. I love Rihanna, but I will say, like, for me,
but it was just funny.
For me, I feel like I remember this being such a big turn for everyone, because before this she was dating that like billionaire Indian man for like years. And I remember an interview being like, oh yeah, like her saying like, oh yeah, I can marry him, like we both are immigrants, we share like a story, you know, like all these things. And then I knew, like, you know, I do at times think that her and ASAP are very cute, but I'm like, at this point, when Rihanna, what, she came here at 16, the majority, and she's now what, 30 something, she's older than us, I think she's 37. Like, the majority of your life, Rihanna, has been as a you know, a tax bracket above me. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so it's just kind of like,
I know, but I don't think hard for me. Erases your, like,
it doesn't erase, but I also think some of her, she was also a preteen, like a teen, and then a young adult. All of these things happened in America as a like millionaire. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's just hard for me to like, sometimes like when people say that about Jay-Z, it's like, okay, but he
say what about Jay-Z?
Like, you know how he put in his thing, like, I'm from Brooklyn, I'm from the Mercy Project. It's like, but really though, like at the end of the day, more than half of your life has been spent as a multi-millionaire. Like, it's just like, you can claim those roots, but let's also put, like, let's be very clear what team you're on and who you align, who you can, what's the word when it's like we can connect, like
relate?
Yes, who you can relate to mostly. You relate to that fucking CEO who got shot at United Healthcare, who's a fucking millionaire more.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that, especially for Rihanna, I feel like I do feel like you're, you know, okay, she was in Barbados until she was 16. I feel like that's enough time to like really be set in like a, you know, you've had your experiences.
Maybe your background, but I'm nothing like I was. I have completely changed since I was 16.
I know, I'm not saying that they're the same. I'm just saying in terms of like seeing relationships, what you might accept, what you might deal with, real. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, especially going from that to basically being an adult, you know, and then having relationships with, you know, Chris Brown and all these like public relationships. I just feel like,
do you see them as like riding off into the sunset scandal? But like, do you see that? Like, you know how Beyonce's like, we're never breaking up, basically. Do you see them as that?
I don't see that. I don't see anybody as anything. Like, I just feel like, I don't know. I remember when they first started dating, it definitely was like, Rihanna, what are you doing?
Yes, and then it was like that.
And then it was like, okay, I guess I can see it. Like, as long as you're happy, you know, whatever. And it still is that.
Yes, absolutely.
But I just, well, I mean, only time will tell. There was somebody that was like online. They were just like, they were like, he's gonna dog her because
I saw that video.
Yeah, because it was just like, because she just like, you know, laid everything on the line for her, and then now it's gonna be like,
hey, what's up, y'all? So ASAP Rocky, he won his case or whatever. All y'all reposting when he jumped over and hugged her, and I don't know who the other, whether it was, somebody said it was his sister, somebody said it was his mother, I don't know. But he jumped over and he hugged Rihanna and he was so happy. Let me just say this. He gonna fold on her. I know y'all finna be mad at me. People need to just be happy for them and people need to stay out their business. Why don't you lead by example and get off this post trying to act like Men don't fold on women that help them. If you think Rihanna ain't made that phone call to that big homie and got that case done, y'all delusional about how things really work. I understand the evidence and all that don't mean nothing. There's a whole lot of people that's locked up who are innocent, but they didn't have enough money to hire the right attorney, and they didn't know the right people. Because to be honest with you, the justice system is not about justice. It's about who you know. How much money can you pay to get out of your situation? Rihanna made that phone call. And I'm going to just say this. When you go and help a man, understand at some point that man is going to use that help that you've given him to turn on you with. I'm quite sure once he going to be cool for a couple of months. Once he gets tired of her telling him what to do, trying to control him, he gonna fold on it. You gonna hear about him with some other chick or something.
I hope it doesn't backfire. Like, I hope that, like, as much as she's giving, he's giving. And, I hope that she gets whatever she wants, a beautiful, happy family,
Yes.
but I do, it hurts me sometimes seeing these, like, beautiful Black women having to sometimes jeopardize their brand, their reputation, and sometimes their dignity at the expense of a man that they've chosen to be with, who could care less about, like, protecting their brand. Do you know what I'm saying? Because the minute something came out with Jay-Z, the first thing he put on his fucking paper is like, my daughter, my wife,
and also just like a crazy message.
Exactly.
So but let's actually talk about that. So
just briefly, I feel like there's not much.
We want to update the people that the lawsuit that was against Jay-Z was dismissed without prejudice, which means that they can't bring it up in court again. Since this, we've seen Jay-Z and Beyonce like out again, which we haven't seen since like the Grammys, like industry events.
Yep. Definitely PR moves now to like rebrand them as like a family.
But like also just them dating, like that was what people were like. We have not seen them just together, and it's just like, okay, I guess now that got thrown out, like they can be seen together. And it was kind of weird that it was like on Valentine's Day. It was the same week as her tickets launch or whatever. So it was just very interesting. And then today I saw that they're having their gold party, which I just feel like after the Oscars, it's like Beyonce and Jay-Z's gold party.
I know, I saw that.
And I'm just like, wow, like they're just like, all right, we're gonna have this joint event. I just feel like it's kind of crazy.
I do think so too. I mean, I think it's interesting that people, it just goes to show how powerful the brand of Beyonce is, because it's interesting that people aren't calling this out for what it is, in the sense that like
Drake got dragged.
Yeah, like it's interesting that people aren't calling it for what it is, because I've seen comments of like, because like I don't know if you saw that like video, like pictures of them like at this Kendrick Lamar event in New York, and she's like leaning on his like
that was a long
shoulder.
Time ago, but yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I feel like people aren't calling it for what it is, in the sense that like they are clearly, this is all like a campaign. Like, now that like this is dropped, they now are going to be publicly seen on dates and in different environments looking like a couple. Prior to that, they completely shut that shit off. She was completely distant. They were kind of awkward together, but it's like now this is the campaign. And so it's interesting, because I've seen people have comments like they look so cute, and like she loves this man so much, and it's just kind of like, why are we not seeing this for what it is, in the sense that like this is a completely planned to the T type of like, it's a campaign, literally. It's like the romance is out of it for me. It's like literally like we are pushing this PR thing, especially this is coming before the rollout of the tour. Like, this is all
which
part of a machine.
Makes it feel like, is it a business? Like,
that's what I'm saying. And that's why I'm just like, her brand is so powerful, because most of the shit that I'm seeing right now, and I'm on the TikTok site that's like critical of V, and I'm not seeing anything like that. And so it's just like, it just goes to show like how powerful she is, when it's like she can show up with him, and it's like,
talk about Beyonce.
That's true. That's true.
And people obviously see what happens, like that girl Han.
Oh my god, yeah. They talking about jumping her at the tour because she has tickets. I'm like, girl, no.
She got dragged. So I'm just like, yeah, people don't want to say anything bad. People are like, all right, it got dismissed. It's just like,
we move on. Yeah.
It's just wild too, because it's like, it's with Diddy, you know, and then also apparently Jay-Z is like about to, you know, like sue him. Excuse me. And he's like
By
has so
him, you
many
mean Diddy or Busby?
Busby.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then it's like Busby has a lot of cases against Diddy. So it's just like, this is so crazy.
It's really crazy.
I also just think it is kind of crazy that they're having this gold party. I just feel like
Same.
I feel like this is like the first time all of the celebrities will be together.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if that case did not get dismissed, I don't think they would have had this gold party.
Wouldn't.
This is all, I'm telling you, this is all a campaign.
Yes,
and so it's just hard to like, it's hard for me to like accept it, I guess, because I'm just kind of like,
I just think it's interesting that now we know. So it's like such an interesting way to like see what they're about to do. Like, let's see what pictures.
Like, exactly. I was like, I want to see the pictures. Is it going to be like last time where they're like kissing and like looking cute? Yes. Or is it, you think so?
I bet we're going to get a power couple picture. Maybe.
Where they're just not smiling and they just like stand there.
Yes. Or like, you know, looking at each other or something. How they like to do.
But that's what I'm saying. How do people like, I mean, I love Beyonce, but how do people eat that shit up? Like, I'm just like, everything is so curated. Like, nothing about her Instagram at this point is candid. It's like, it's so curated. How are we still eating this shit up? Like, literally somebody's behind the camera being like, all right, give me one like this. And then they do it. Like, it's not
because
real.
Beyonce is just badass in some ways that she just, like you said, she just makes everything look cool and like, you know, just acceptable. I also was gonna say, I also think they like to just look like they are in control and like, you know, just like always like, you know, this is a big win, like coming out on top type shit. And also just like how, I don't know, like they just won't be bothered by stuff. One thing I wanted to say talking about this is, you say you didn't see this when we got on, but like Kanye posted some pictures. Well, he posted Mama Tina at the Jennifer Hudson show.
Right. I did see Mama Tina at Jennifer Hudson, yes.
Well, he posted that video and then like the game was like rapping over that, and then like he had like a DM open to her page and then like with the banana in the messages. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, I feel like he wanted to get their attention, and like, why would you ever play with Mama Tina like this? Like, this is not, okay. Like, Beyonce is probably pissed.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's bad.
But she doesn't want to give him a reaction.
Exactly. But he probably got something behind the scenes. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
but I'm just that's like, the fact that like the gold party, like, I'm just like, what if Kanye shows up to the gold party?
He's gonna get escorted out. It's gonna be a fight. I mean, I don't know. It's just interesting.
All of it is just insane.
But I just think that, like, to me at this point, it's pretty obvious this is like a perfectly planned, curated rebranding and reemergence of this like Black love, like Beyonce and Jay-Z family. And to me, it's just coming off as disingenuous, and so it's hard for me to like eat it up, because I'm like,
it's just so
give us something real.
We can see the PR. We can like see the PR board.
Exactly.
And like, Beyonce's strategy is just keep going. Like just like she's like on stage, you know, like if something happens, just keep going. Like she went through the Grammys, she went through the Mufasa thing. She's launched her tickets. She's launched another perfume and
Levi's campaign
and Levi's. It's just like, they're just like, just keep going. Like,
I can't live like that though. And I hope that Beyonce has, I mean, I know she's covered in prayer and like people that love her, but I'm just like, I hope that her mental state is protected, because I'm like, I truly believe this is like what broke like Britney Spears, what broke like so many people, that like they just kept going. Like, you know,
you said you have to do to be a you're like,
you do to a certain extent, girl. But she's at a point now where it's different. I do think in the beginning you have to do that. You have to have that mindset. But now when you're Beyonce, you actually can. She literally said that in her thing. Like, I don't have to prove like I'm a hard dancer now. I can just sing. You do not have to prove anything now. You could take a beat, but your whole thing is like the machine. I hope that like,
I do feel like she she knows her importance as a artist, like of our generation.
Mm-hmm.
And she also is like an athlete in terms of her age. You know, it's just
Mm-hmm.
like, all right, like this is Beyonce's in her 40s now. Like, how many more tours do we have? Like, so I
Mm-hmm.
feel like she put out this thing with the Act 3, and it's just like until we get done with that,
She's
it
like,
is
oh
goes.
shit, I got to do this again.
Yes, it's like I'm committed to this, and like think about it. I'm like trying to think like Blue's about to be in 8th grade.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like by the time she's in high school, Beyonce might be not on tour anymore. You know what I mean?
We'll see what happens, but yes, we see the PR, and that shit's not fooling us. But the last person we want to put on trial for the last probably
Yes, who
20
Alexis?
minutes is Miss Tamara Mowry Housley.
Lord, Alexis, tell us what's going on with this girl, with this child, Lord.
Yeah,
She just be looking
people have been
looking
dragging her
dizzy.
ass. So I think this was last week, or maybe 2 weeks ago. Trump, there was like there was
As
a
he always
journalist that
is.
took to X to approve. So basically, Trump has this plan to correct financial mismanagement of SNAP,
Quote unquote.
and so basically he wants to make sure that like SNAP can only be used to buy healthy foods and no
And I
junk
think
foods. That's what he was saying.
RFK Jr. might have something to do with this.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
And SNAP
can't
is
buy like soda and all that stuff.
And SNAP is
food
supplemental, nutrition assistance program. And so Tamara Mowry's husband Adam Housley went to Twitter and basically said that, like, made a tweet saying like he grew up in his parents' grocery store in a neighborhood in LA, and he saw personally how parents would come in and spend all like
the
buy a
food
bunch of
stamps.
junk food on SNAP and then spend actual cash, their own cash, personal cash and money on cigarettes, alcohol, and alcohol, and I think that was it. Yeah, cigarette and raffle and lottery tickets. And so it sparked a huge thing because it's an incredibly racist comment. It's
my God.
like basically, and it's also like
crazy to say that.
Persistent narrative that I feel like has that has been very powerful and prejudiced
Black people since
and following
the dawn of time,
Black people, but specifically poor Black people, right? That like they are irresponsible, lazy, bad parents, and don't care about things that middle class, upper middle class people care about, which is like nutrition, parenting, and all those things. So people were dragging Miss Tamara Mowry Housley because of the fact that she's a Black woman married to this white man, and this is on the heels of him being very weird about Black Lives Matter when it was happening with the protest. Him being like, I'm pretty sure on Fox News, pretty much, I'm pretty sure he is a like confirmed Republican, like he has said it. And so people are just looking at Tamara as a Black woman with a dark-skinned Black mother growing up in Black culture. Let's be clear, like sister, Twitches, all those things. Those were shows that Black girls watched, and so, and then like heavily in BET, heavily in like the Black, I would say Black
Christian,
heavily Christian, and just in the Black, like she is a Black artist. You know what I'm saying? It's like she
is on Sister, like what?
She is like, she's like a Kyla Pratt. Like she's an iconic
Black girl.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so it's just people are looking at her like, what the fuck? And so I want to hear your thoughts, but also I just want to mention that her response, she had no response. All she did was then just like put up some ads about her new fucking hair comb. I see that they're now on a trip to Ireland as a family.
Oh my God.
And so I just want to know what your thoughts are and what you think Tamara is like thinking.
I think Tamara has sipped the Kool-Aid of that Christian family, like she might not say she's a Republican, like, or even vote. Like, she probably she might have voted for Kamala. But at the end of the day, it's like you're still married to and supporting and like, being with somebody who is a white man who is making these crazy comments about like food stamps of all things. It's just like, that just tells you so much about his ideology, about Black people, poor people. It's just like, and to get on Twitter right now to say that is just, ugh.
I
It
just feel
makes
like
me feel very weird. And
I
I think,
agree.
sorry, last thing I'm gonna
No,
say
go
is,
ahead.
I feel like Tamara has always just felt like she's in like a controlling relationship, or she's just like trying to speak for him, like that clip where she's like, my husband is not a racist.
What you're saying, in the sense that, like, there are some people who think that my husband is racist because he worked for a certain channel. I'm gonna look in that camera right there and let everybody know my husband is not a racist. Boom,
and it's just like, you would not need to say that
if he didn't come off like that. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's just like,
absolutely,
I cannot believe that he said that. First of all, people that are on food stamps. First of all, it's most people that are on food stamps. How about we start there? Like, white people use food stamps just as much as Black people do. And
if not more, I'm pretty
race.
sure like there was a statistic where it's like white people use it more.
Yes, I'm pretty sure it is more. And it's just like, I just think that that's disgusting to try to control people to that level.
I just think that, there were so many good things you said that I want to reiterate and have some thoughts, but like, absolutely. She should look in the mirror and think all the time she had to go on the fucking reel and talk about how defend her husband. She should start thinking about why the hell she has to, at so many occasions, keep reiterating he is not a racist person. At a certain point, you need to look a little deeper in your reflections and see what is his behavior doing that's giving this reaction multiple times from people of color. Secondly, I just feel like, I don't know, like, she really is sad because it's just like, I think about the 92 percenters so today, basically, I don't know if you saw Love is Blind. I told you a little bit about this, but how there's a white girl in Love is Blind who basically is like, I care about politics. She acts as the guy behind the wall, like, who she's falling in love with. Like, oh, do you care about politics? He's kind of like, no, I don't really care. Regardless, she still accepts his engagement. And so I saw a TikTok today that was like, this is the difference between the 92%, which is the Black women who voted for Kamala, and the 47% who voted for white women who voted for Kamala. At the end of the day, when it comes to like love, your husband, your family, your friends, things that are difficult, people you really love but have really terrible values, you will at the end of the day compromise your integrity. I feel like Tamara is the exact same thing. It's like, it doesn't matter if he's nice to you, Tamara. It doesn't matter if he treats your mother really kindly. You really have to think deeper than your own selfish personal experiences with this one person and think about, how does he treat and think about my community as a whole? And this type of language doesn't show any type of care. And I get that you love him, but at a certain point you have you have to think beyond your love. You have to think beyond and just like, he treats me well. It's such a selfish thing to just only care about how he treats you.
Yes. And it's also just sad because I feel like
she looks like a coon now.
Yeah. And I feel like I don't feel like she believes that really. And I feel like
believes what?
Just like people that are on food stamps should only be able to buy healthy food.
I don't maybe think she believes that either.
But I just like, be more of a leader, and that like, they could be on this road of like, like this white man making an effort to be sensitive and like, be an ally, like really like be like, that could be the angle, but it's not. It's like she is following his lead.
Her silence is taking a stand, right?
Yes, and I think her religion is a big part of what keeps her there.
And that's why I'm just like, the more and more I
has a white Jesus in her mind.
Oh yeah, the more and more I think about her, it's like, no wonder her and Tia aren't fucking each other right now. Because Tia,
it's crazy how that happened.
Tia always led with her blackness, and not that Tamara didn't.
She dated black. I think
I
because
agree,
she was
but not that
attracted to a black
Tamara
man.
didn't, because I think Tamara is aware of like her the spaces she is able to occupy in Hollywood. So I think she definitely is aware of her blackness and leads with it. But I think there's this weird thing where she's like, I don't know what it is. Whether it's like there's some internalized hate there, whether we really are seeing the power dynamics of this white man on this black woman. I don't know what it is, but it's just like she completely loses all self-respect when it comes to him each time. And that's not love, honey.
Sadly, I think that like Tia and Tamara, they both grew up pretty sheltered. They were in the black community. I think that Tamara, like, she talks about her insecurity of just like being the cute funny one, like not being like the sexy one, whatever, like, and just again just how she internalized the Christianity and all of that. Like, I just, and like the fantasy, I do feel like, you know, being an actor and just seeing them act out like all those like romantic relationships on TV. I don't know. I feel like that just informs stuff. And we know that they didn't really like date that much and all this stuff. I think that Tamara just feels like somebody that is kind of a perfectionist a little bit. And also, I'm pretty sure her parents are divorced. And I know people that have divorced parents sometimes can be like very much like, I'm going to keep my family together. And I just think I think she happened. Yeah, I think she happened to, you know, date this white guy that she really liked. And I think she just like,
and she had no experiences, so this was everything to her. Like, you know, she's like, he's the man of my dreams. He's everything. I can't imagine better, because you literally have never had anything else.
And I do feel like Tamara, she probably did get some judgment about like being black enough. Like, I could see her getting that, and I feel like she kind of is like sensitive and is just like, I'm just gonna like have like white friends, you know. Like,
but it's that, I guess
like
it's
that.
interesting to me, because I get what you're saying, but it's like, why does it never go the other way? It's like, the black people are saying you're not black enough, so you excommunicate yourself from black people. But the white people are also, I'm sure, telling you you're not white enough. Why is it never, so I stopped hanging out with white people? It's always like, I just left the black people because they were mean.
I do feel
maybe
like
it cuts different,
though.
Well, I was just gonna say, maybe it cuts a little deeper because it's your people, you know? So you're just like, and maybe that's it.
I also feel like sometimes when you're in these circles, it's just like they're just drinking wine and like, you know, you can just, she's not tuned into like hearing all of the microaggressions and like, oh, she said this, like, you know, I just feel like, and she has somebody that is going to gaslight her around her. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you can turn to him and be like, hey, well, what about that? It's like, he's probably kind of denying her reality too. You know, I just can't imagine. I just can't imagine. But I do feel like it just happened to be that she married and felt safe with and just like has this, you know, romantic relationship. And yeah, like you said, all her first and stuff with this white man that she has been defending. So it's just like, that's also a thing too. It's like when you're become defensive of somebody, it's like you are even more like put your heels in the ground. I feel like sometimes.
I agree. And I just hope that she like, because I'm like this, like this is kind of another one of those situations we were talking about where it's like, I hope that like she doesn't allow this man, and I'm not going to say a man, like her husband, to completely jeopardize her brand and her image, because I feel like it low-key.
I think that's already done. People are calling her Tamaga.
I know. I mean, like, you're right. It probably already has done, and so that's why I'm just like,
but it's very also sad. Like, girl, why are you posting about?
But why is it also that fucking deep for these people? And again, maybe it's just because I'm not married, but I'm just like, why is your marriage the thing you're willing to die on? Die on a hill on?
That's what the freaking Bible says, right? Like, that's like what these people are.
Maybe I'm just gonna be a bad wife, but I'm just like, I don't understand why like we are willing to throw it all away for the marriage. Is it that fucking deep? Like, truly,
people are people have old school mindsets, and like Tamara and Beyonce and like people like that are from this like last generation of like old schoolness, and it's just kind of like, I don't know. It's just sad. Like, this is another example of a man that is like dragging their woman like through the mud because of their bullshit. Like, you did not have to get on TikTok to say that. I mean, on Twitter to say that. You could have stayed your ass at home, wrote it in your journal, said it to Tamara, like, talk to your friends at the winery or whatever, the vineyard. But you do not have to get on line and add to this conversation in this incredibly divisive time. Like, you are not thinking about Tamara. And that's what I think that's what it all comes down to. It's just like, are you thinking about your partner? Like, what the fuck?
You're not. And that's the thing that's annoying, because it's just like the women in these situations, I feel like, are constantly thinking of their men. So much so that they're bringing their kids to the fucking court. So much so that they're like singing fucking Jolene to a fucking camera, kind of give like hinted message about don't mess with my family. So much so that they're literally like just like defending their husband on a fucking daytime shock show, Tamara. But their husbands don't have the same fucking courtesy back to them. And so it's just so irritating to watch, because I'm just like, why?
But I guess it makes sense. I think it makes sense. Like, I think that Tamara is, even if she's not a hardcore Republican, you know, just that trade wife life, and like just
trad wife,
trad, that's like traditional. Yeah, I just feel like that is, I'm sure that's what she watches on TikTok. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure she's watching that content and is like, was singing in the bar, proud to be an American. Oh my god, like, they were singing
oh my god, that's, you know, so embarrassing.
I was gonna say too, I feel like whiteness allows you to not think so much about all of the trauma of being black, and I feel like it probably is a little bit of an escape when she's in Adam's world of just like having to think about, you know, all of the hard things about being black. And also it's like, she probably is like the coolest person in the room. Like, nobody's gonna make fun of her for like being her. You know what I mean? Like, I can just see her just feeling like she can be as corny and whatever with white people.
It's just so fucking sad, but
I know.
I just want us women to understand that there's more to life than our marriages. Like, you know, like, you have more meaning than just being somebody's wife and partner. And especially these women, down. Because regardless, like, these women that we're talking about, these three, are iconic, very talented women that mean something big to the culture. Even Tamaga is
we love Tamara.
Significant. Tia and Tamara are significant to the culture.
Oh my god!
And so it's just like, I hope that they understand and realize who they are. And it's just like, you are the prize. Like, these men are not.
That's what
and
I'm
it's
just
and your marriage is not the prize either. Like, there's more to life than your marriage. And so it's just like, I hope that they
I don't think that Tamara's waking up. Sadly.
They wake up to some degree. I feel like Rihanna kind of understands that, because I feel like Rihanna just is like having fun, but she's still showing a little bit of that. But it's just, I mean,
she definitely is. That girl is a Pisces. Okay, she be in it deep. Right. So yeah, I do feel like she got a little bit of the, you know, she was giving whatever she's saying. You was just another nigga on the hit list. Like, no, this is not another nigga
on the hit list. Rihanna's so fucking savage. Like, to say that is crazy.
He was giving savage energy, and so I don't know if it'll come out.
Can you just imagine if you thought you meant something to her and she just said
just
that?
Another nigga on the hit list. What a savage.
Oh, I love it. Okay, well, let's
let these ladies stand up and
stand up.
All right.
All
Well,
right, we will need to do a Beyhive buzz soon. So come,
yes.
you'll hear us from that soon. But
Yes, on the
until next
Patreon,
time,
feel free to donate on PayPal. We had that available. Sign up for our Patreon membership because a new episode is coming soon. We got a lot of things in the works, y'all. We love you, and we will see y'all next week for our 100th episode. Bye.
bye.
Or not our 100th
Yeah, I'm about to
episode.
say 1 year. When you said 100, I'm like, we just did 50, but okay.
I'm in the future. I'm on a different timeline. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. Remember to email us your discussion topics at whoamitojudgepod@gmail.com. Also, remember to subscribe to Who Am I to Judge podcast on Spotify and everywhere you get your podcasts. If you love us, please rate us and review. And if you don't, leave us alone. Tell a friend to tell a friend. See y'all next week. Bye, friends.